It looks like we're live.
All right. Welcome, friends and fellow roadies, to another Facebook Live event, YouTube Live event. Glad to have you on the show today. Each and every person on the show is a bourbon roadie, and some of you have been for quite a long time, and some of you are a little bit newer. But it's great to have you on the show today. We've got a topic that we're going to go through, and we're going to drink an awful lot of whiskey, so it's going to be a fun time. But first, what I'd like to do is take a few minutes here and kind of go through introductions. Rob had to step away for the camera for a moment. I think he had to get some water. He'll be right back. But I'm gonna call out a person, and then you introduce yourself. And when you're done, you can call out just somebody to go next. So, Brian, won't you go first?
All right, Brian Hyatt. So happy to be here. Excited to enjoy this night with you guys. Open up some pretty cool bottles here. Looking forward to a great night.
All right, somebody just take it next.
All right, I'm Jordan Riley. I've been a roadie for, I think, this January marks 3 years. I was working at a assembly line at the time, just kind of got into bourbon, like collecting, and actually wanted to get more into just the drinking aspect of it. And just randomly looked for bourbon podcasts, and I think the Bourbon Road was maybe like the third or fourth one that I came across, and was the only one that really kind of spoke to me in a way, and I've enjoyed it ever since.
Awesome. Always glad to have you, Jordan. Long time bourbon roadie.
All right, Doug, how about it?
I am Doug Keller, and I've been a roadie for a while, and I actually got to meet Mike and Jim this past summer when we were down in Kentucky. I've been a bourbon guy since I had Wild Turkey back in the 80s when most of you weren't around yet. And I enjoy it, and it's a fun podcast. What's that?
I said most of them.
Most of them. And I'm from Ohio, just like Jim, so yeah. I'm still there.
And we're in the same shirt. So
there you go.
There you go.
Hey, Scott.
Hi, Scott Eversole here from Ohio. And I got hooked up with the Bourbon Road and the Roadies. It's been a couple, 2 or 3 years ago now. I've had the opportunity to attend a couple of the events. The Bourbon Road Lounge is a great one to be at. And this is my first event like this, and I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Well, it's going to be a great time tonight. We're going to have a blast. We're going to drink through an awful lot of bourbons. And we each of us, I think, we have a warm up in our glass, something that's not really the topic of the show tonight, but it's something that you've been sipping on to try and warm up. So I'm going to start off. So my warm up is a single barrel from Luca Mariano. And it's a pretty darn good whiskey. I don't know if you guys have had it before, but it's pretty tasty. And I didn't just have one warm up. I'm on my second warm up, and I'm enjoying it quite a bit. So, Brian?
Yeah, tonight I'm sipping on Bibb & Tucker. Not sure who all has had that before, but it's a 6-year. It's something that I've had sitting around for a very long time. Haven't really gotten into it much. This is actually only the second time that I've ever opened it up and enjoyed it. So it's a nice way to start the night.
Oh, somebody popped something there.
That's popping another little taste. I love that sound. That's it.
All right, Doug, what are you sipping on?
Well, actually, I'm sipping on a cheap one, but a good one.
Yeah. Well, that
Little Heaven Hill.
Highly underrated bourbon right there.
Yeah.
It is.
Bourbon to warm up with, right?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Are you guys finding that out in the wild anywhere?
I haven't actually looked for it in a while. Maybe back in the summer I saw it on a few shelves, but I haven't been out hunting anything here recently. But
I couldn't find any when I was in Kentucky in July.
Mm-mm. Hadn't been
I
much
see it every
around.
now and then, but I think there should be more bottles out there. Definitely should be more available, but it does get snapped up pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
Rob, what are you warming up on tonight?
Well, I decided to go with the Jep the Creed rye bottled in bond. And those guys kind of got a bad rap there early on, and when they started out with some of their young bourbons and young rye, and each iteration has gotten a little bit better. And I've really kind of fallen in love with this. I know there's some flavor in there that I'm really enjoying. So kind of a malty flavor.
Yeah, you said you like that malted rye. You like malted grains a lot, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm sort of
Scott?
in pursuit of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Scott, what about you?
Well, I'm working on a little Lucky 7 here, a little holiday toast.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Really, I looked for several years trying to get my hands on a bottle of this. And I happened into a liquor store yesterday afternoon, and what they had a whole row of it just sitting there on the shelf all by itself. So it's a nice little spice bomb, and I'm really enjoying it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a good one to get your hands on. Ashley Barnes has had a lot to do with that one, and she's been a guest on the show quite a few times. And I think I've got at least 2 bottles of Lucky 7 on the shelf. I used to have more, but I keep drinking it.
Funny how that happens.
And yeah, I just want to let the Facebook users know who are coming in to chat with us that if you'll go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, you have to actually give permission for our streaming software to show your name online. So it's one of those Facebook rules. So if you go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, give it permission, it'll let your name show up when you give comments. So don't want anybody to be upset why their comments aren't showing. And somebody tends to agree with you a little bit there, Scott. It is a nice pour.
Quite enjoyable.
Well, kind of, and everybody's seen the post and what the reason for the show is tonight. But what we're doing is we're talking about, we got a new hashtag. It's called OTDB, right? Open the damn bottle. And we're kind of encouraging people to take that bottle off the shelf that you haven't opened and go ahead and open it and enjoy it and share it with some friends. And I know it's kind of sounds like it might be in conflict a little bit with, we're always saying your bourbon your way, right? It's your bourbon, do what you want with it, right? And we truly believe that. Drink it the way that you like it. In other words, if you like to drink bourbon on ice, if you like to drink it with a splash of water, if you like to drink it in a cocktail or a highball, more power to you. That's your bourbon. You should drink it how you want to. Just drink it, right?
Absolutely.
But at the same time, we'd love to see you open those bottles and share them with each other and enjoy them, because that's what it's all about. And if they sit and gather cobwebs for a very long time, then you don't get that enjoyment out of them. So we're going to talk tonight about a lot of reasons why you haven't opened the damn bottle. Why you didn't open that bottle, why it's been sitting on your shelf for a while, why it might have a little bit of dust on it. And there's a lot of valid reasons for that. And I'm not going to tell anybody there aren't. One very good reason is like a birthday bottle, right? You buy a bottle for a friend or a child or a spouse or somebody, and you want to turn them on to it. When they turn of age and they can drink, then I think that's a good reason. You're saving for that special day. And so it's always nice to have a bottle that's put away for that special occasion. And I won't hold that against anyone. But tonight I'm going to talk about 3 bottles that I have that I haven't opened or I have just recently opened, because I kind of hate to see them go, right? I hate to see them be gone. And we'll get into that. So what do you guys think about that? Let's have some comments on this hashtag OTDB. What do you think about it? Jordan?
I mean, I've got a couple. I think the only things that I have that are unopened are like doubles. But I've got a lot of friends that, like you said, they'll save it for a birthday. I know one buddy that found a like a Blanton with like his son's birthday is the dump date, and his son was just born last year, so it's going to be a while before that opens. I understand things like that, but people that grab up all these like allocated bottles, or even if it's not an allocated, just like a good sipper, and just won't open it, kind of irks me, because I think that's kind of the point of this, is there's so much enjoyment that can be had with just drinking bourbon with friends, sharing it with friends. And I feel like that's a huge thing that a lot of people miss out on by just saying like, well, I don't want to open this one till I get another one. Well, I mean, if that's a old Rip Van Winkle or, just like a really, really hard to get bottle, you might not ever find another one, and you're missing out on a lot of experience with that. So I always I've got the one that I'll bring out later. Usually it's like a birthday pour. My buddy got married back in September. The bachelor party, we all had a little pour of that. So I've got a few that I kind of hold back for just special occasions, but they definitely have quite a bit taken out of them just to kind of make those memories and experiences.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think there are some pretty darn valid reasons, but there could be some excess there too. Grabbing a lot of bottles and stashing them away and they never seeing the light of day. You don't really get to enjoy them. Especially,
Right.
I mean, if you've got one out and you're drinking from it, you got two more in the back bar. I get that. I understand. I mean, I understand completely. You don't need to open all your whiskey, but somebody's got a question for you here, Rob.
Uh-oh.
Is
that an eagle? Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, whoever.
So if you've ever been to Rob's bar, Rob, tell them about your eagles. You got them everywhere.
Yeah. So I've got another one just like that. That's a 4-foot wingspan on that, the eagle, actually. My head's not 4 foot wide, but I guess it's the perspective here. But I collect eagles, historic American flags, and various other things like that. I think I have 13 sets of eagle bookends here, and just a lot of goofy stuff, military memorabilia. So,
And your flags, right?
flags, a lot of historic flags dating back to pre-Civil War.
You're quite the patriotic fellow.
Well, I try to be. Yeah.
So-
And
so
my
Rob-
bar is always open, and you're welcome. Whoever posted that, welcome to come see these eagles.
Yeah, they want to know your address now because they can see all your bottles and you have them in bars.
And by the way, if I could chime in here a little bit, Jordan, you kind of mentioned can you see my old Rip Van Winkle?
Ooh, I sure can.
Yeah, a little bit sad, but I got that on my about 4 years ago, right before I was turning 63, and I decided. I mean, I think my wife said, "You're not gonna O," and she got the word "O" out about the time I popped the top. And I've been having fun with it. I'm not drinking a lot of it. I've shared that with people, quite honestly, and I got some feelers out for another bottle, but
Yeah, same here.
probably about 150 is my maximum dollar figure. I got this one for $85, and
Can't
which
beat that.
makes it a little easier to share. But I also
Right.
know, it could cost me $1,200 to replace it, but I don't do that.
Right.
So
Well, Brian, what about you?
Well, I'm going to just be completely honest. I really don't have very many bottles that are not open unless they're relatively new. I do actually have two that may go unopened only because of the sentimental value. My wife gave me something on our first anniversary, and it's actually not sure if anybody's really ever seen it, but it's Bedtime Bourbon. It was batch 1, bottle 236. It's just kind of sitting there. I'm not sure that one. I really don't know anything about it. It was just something she gave to me, but I'm very big about opening every bottle. Very big about sharing. Anytime somebody walks in my house, it doesn't matter what I have. They can taste it. I never tell anybody no. I do have a rule that there is one bottle that it's kind of nasty. So if you want to drink the really good stuff, you got to taste the nasty one too, just for the experience
I
of
like
it.
that.
But yeah, I'm all about opening every bottle that I get.
Scott?
Yeah. Well, up until I guess a couple of years ago, I was one of those that I guess I would be considered a hoarder. I had a lot of bottles that I just didn't want to open because I was like, I don't know if I'll ever see another one. But I got over that. I've really I really like sharing my bourbon. I like talking about bourbon with people, my neighbors, my friends. And as a matter of fact, I flew home week before last, to get some business done that I needed to get wrapped up. And I brought a bottle of Weller Antique back with me to Texas for a friend of mine. Gave it to him. He's from Canada. He'd never had it, never tasted it. Well, now he's got a bottle of it and he can enjoy it or take it home and share it with his friends. So I all my bottles, well, all the bottles here that I have in Texas, except one, are open. Now, I do have a couple boxes that I've acquired of bourbon that I'm going to take back to Ohio with me. But yeah, I got one Ohio barrel pick that I brought down here with the Yellowstone that I haven't opened yet, and more than likely it'll get the pop top on it before we get out of here.
Hey,
Ryan,
Scott, if you need,
somebody's got a question for you there. What about those pots of gold? They said.
Which pots of gold? The
Probably the Blanton bottles are gold.
Yeah, those are probably gonna sit. And not that I wouldn't typically open those, but it's more about the collection that it comes with the humidor. But there will come a point that those will be opened. Just right now, not quite gonna crack into those just yet. It's so pretty to open up that humidor and look at it. And I have other golds, but those are good ones. And one day we will definitely crack them.
And Doug,
I have a couple bottles that I don't have opened, and one of them I showed the guys here a minute ago. And it's a little decanter that I picked up. Old Taylor.
Bring it closer. Bring it closer.
Mm.
Oh my goodness! Look
and
at
it's
that.
from 1969.
Whew.
And it has never. Where's my camera? There you go.
Oh.
It's never been cracked,
Oh my goodness!
and it is too stinking valuable to open. So I'm going to get rid of it, and I've already replaced it with an empty, so it won't hurt near as much when I lose it. But hey, I did employ a guard, so
Well,
it's well protected now.
I hope you find somebody that'll open it and drink it.
There
So-
you go. There you go. Yeah, I'm a firm believer that if you have it, open it, because chances are your relatives that end up having to get rid of your stuff aren't going to enjoy bourbon near as much as you do.
As I say, my kids are going to hawk all this stuff.
There you go.
Probably will. Hey, Rob, somebody wants to know what's your channel. So,
My channel?
yeah, what's your YouTube channel or Facebook page
Oh,
or
heck.
whatever? I
Heck,
think they think you should have your own show.
Man, I don't know about that.
Jordan, what do you got going on?
Who'd you say?
I said Jordan, but I think we lost his sound.
Uh-oh.
Oh, sorry. There we go. I was muted. So tonight I'm sipping on. It's not really like a daily sipper, but one that I'm coming to pop the cork on a little more often is Milam and Green. I've got
Okay.
their triple cask finish. Actually won this off of an episode of the Bourbon Road, and it was the I think it was the first one. I just looked it up too. It was the first all-female run distillery in, looks like, Blanco, Texas. So I always thought that was, even like, this is probably, even after it's gone, I'll probably keep that bottle just to kind of commemorate that, because that's something you don't hear about every day. And it's only 94 proof, but it's got a decent little amount of like heat and spice to it. So it's one that when I first got it, I did enjoy it. It was kind of one that I would probably keep to kind of, for anybody who hadn't had like a triple cask finish or anything like that. But I opened it, well, not opened it, but cracked it open again about 2 weeks ago. And I've gone through almost half of it since since then. So it's definitely becoming one of my more go-to bourbons, and I'll kind of be sad to see that one go.
All right. Well, I'm about ready for us to talk about the real bottles we got here, the ones that we are going to crack open, the ones we are going to drink, the ones that have a story behind them. And I'm going to start with one here. I usually start low proof and work up, but tonight I'm going to start high proof and work down.
Gotcha.
So the first one I'm going to talk about is, and this is my last bottle of this. So this is Stag Junior. This is batch 10. This is 126.4 proof. Now, there's a lot of people that say batch 9 was the jam, batch 13 was the jam, batch 7. Everybody has their Stag Junior batch that they really like. But mine was 10. And I had a number of these bottles, and this is it. This is the last one. And, the funny thing is like I drank the last of my second to last bottle over a year ago. And I've been staring at this thing for like a year and haven't opened it. So tonight, I am opening my batch 10 Stag Junior from, I think, 2018, maybe even 27. I don't remember exactly. But so I'm going to open that and pour that one and reminisce about how much I like this one. Everybody has their profile and what they really like. This one is the jam for me. I remember batch 9 and batch 13, and they were both pretty darn good. Batch 10 was firewater, and I love it so much. So, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Wow, that's nice. Cherry cola, but it's definitely got some fire to it. I'm glad I opened that because now I'm going to sip on this for probably a little bit here and there for the next few weeks. And Brian, when you're over, Rob, and of course, Jordan, you've been over a few times. The rest of you are always welcome. Maybe I'll have a little bit of this for you to try.
All right.
Open
Sounds
that.
It'd be a nice treat.
Yeah.
Yes, it would.
All right. Let's do the round robin here. Rob, what are we drinking that we haven't been drinking?
Okay. Well, I'll try not to drag this out too long, but so I wonder sometimes, some of these things like E.H. Taylor, comes in a cool canister and but it's cheap, but it seems like it's intimidating for people to open. And I wonder if that's the case with this, the Wild Turkey Master's Keep, the Revival. So I think this was a 2018 version, and I was just getting into bourbon about that time. I think I bought it in 2019 again in anticipation of my 60th birthday, and then when I got there that night, everybody said no, don't open it, and consequently I didn't. So now here I've had it for 4 years now, which is just borderline stupid. And so it came in a nice case. Actually, a pretty sweet bottle. I don't know if you want all this commentary or not, Jim, but there it is. I did. Let's see. Now I'm gonna have to go out of the picture. Give me a second. I put my glass out of reach. So I did cut the plastic here, but so if you don't know about this one, it was intriguing to me because I did not know what a finished bourbon was at the time. And this has got 12. It's a Wild Turkey 101, 101 proof. It's got made of 12 and 15-year-old barrels. And then as the legend goes, Eddie Russell went to Spain and brought back a truckload of Oloroso sherry casks that were 20 plus years old, many of them 30-year-old sherry casks. And all that sounded pretty crazy to me. And then so I ponied up, I was buying bourbon in the $30 to $60 range, and I don't know. I got wild one day, and I mean, I think I paid 100 and I don't know. Anybody know? Maybe 185 for it. Could it have been that much? Maybe with tax. I don't know, but you know, I've been holding on to this stupid thing forever, wondering what the heck it tasted like, and tonight we're going to find out. I better get a bigger pour than that.
I think you're going to be like blown away.
Yeah.
Totally blown away.
Well, you know, anytime you get a good sherry cask, I mean, boy, you got some real fruits to that, and man, it really does. Oh my goodness, yeah, that's unique beyond anything I've smelled before. So,
Yeah, it's pretty amazing stuff. Brian.
All right. Well, like I said, I don't have very many that sit on my shelf for much time at all. And this one, I have to say, Rob, thank you very much. I appreciate it, brother. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
I'm super excited. This is a WB Saffold, and one that I am very excited to open up. I honestly didn't know when I was going to open this. I was going to save it for a little while, show it off a little bit.
Perfect.
But my good buddy Rob took care of me. He made sure that I got this one, and I'm super excited to crack it. I've heard good things about it, and so here we go.
All right. That's one of my faves.
See if we
I
can get a
think
nice.
that's a good story too. While you're opening the bottle, we should talk about how awesome that is. That Brian had a hankering for a Saffold and couldn't find one, and Rob said, "I have two. I can give him one." That's what roadies do, right? That's pretty awesome.
That's it.
And you know, I did have a little sip of that with Jimmy Russell at the distillery one day here about 6 months ago. And I kid you not, you know, talking about some different things, he all but said, "Open the dang bottle." You know, don't keep bottles.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get Jimmy Russell a hat because he's really the guy that started saying "open the damn bottle," right?
Yeah,
That's right.
exactly.
He
And
started
I'm not.
that.
Oh, and by the way, I'm not trying to say I'm a big shot. I happened to pull up at the little visitor center, and he happened to be sitting there. And you know, I went back and got a drink and got to talk to him for a few minutes. But he's a cool dude.
Yeah, he definitely is a pretty cool dude. And Brian put on his hat, by the way. Hashtag OTDB.
I like that. That's nice.
Yeah, feel free to start slamming your social posts with hashtag OTDB because I don't know. I'm hoping it'll catch on, right? I'm hoping it'll catch on and people say, you know what, that's what we need to be doing, you know. And it's pretty cool. So, and even Todd says Saffold is his fave of the 3 Baron releases. So, yeah, Todd, I tend to agree with you. Saffold, I think, is exceptionally the top of those 3 Baron releases. So definitely for sure.
I got to tell you, I'm happy right now. This is amazing.
Well, tell us a little bit about it. It's been a minute since I had a daggone Saffold. So
Well, I mean, really on the nose. It's sweet brown sugar. The taste. I mean, goodness, it's. I mean, honestly, more brown sugar. It's nice. It's balanced. It's a good, easy drink, and the finish is nice. It's warm. Like it's a good, kind of gives you a little bit, not too big of a hug, but it gives you a little bit of a hug, and it's. I have to tell you, it's very good.
Yeah.
I agree. One of my favorites for sure.
Cheers to that.
All right, I'm going to go around the clock here a little bit. Scott,
Hey,
what's that bottle
well,
of yours?
well, I'm just going to go ahead and open. Whoops.
Oh, tell us
Makers
what it is. I had a
BRT2.
problem seeing that.
BRT2.
Okay. Yeah.
I
It's a good
This
one.
is one of the ones I picked up right after I got here to Texas back in November. Just kind of been sitting in a box thinking I was going to take it back to Ohio, but since we're opening bottles tonight, I figured I'd dig it out and open it up. I don't believe I've ever had a Bad Makers. There we go. This is my first BRT. Oh, that's really nice. That does not disappoint at all. Got a little
So you're a big
spice
fan
on
of
the-
those special releases out of Makers?
Yeah. They're a lot of the store picks, they're stave finishes that I run across. I can't help myself. I actually, a couple of years ago, I was at a liquor store in northern Kentucky, and by the time I got out of there, I damn near had a shopping cart full of Maker's Mark because they had every kind of store pick stave finish you could think of, and I just couldn't stop buying them. And I really enjoy them.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I think it's been a couple of years, but their FAE02 was our bourbon of the year in, I think, 2020. I think it was.
Yeah, we were in.
That's a good one.
Yeah, we were just at the last year. We were at Maker's Mart, and they had plenty of those there to purchase in the gift shop. Unfortunately, the computers were down that day, and they wouldn't take cash, and they couldn't take credit cards. So I walked out empty-handed.
Oh, it's a shame.
That's a killer.
Yep. All I could do was stand there and look at it.
Well, Doug, I think you got something for us, don't you?
I do. Actually, this is a gift from fellow roadies Mark and Amy Ratliff. It is Barrel and Billets,
Oh,
and it is a bourbon whiskey finish with 200-year-old oak and European oak. I've never tried it, and I figured tonight's a good night, and I see they're both on watching. So, hello, Mark and Amy.
yeah.
I think
Mark
Jim
and
got to
Amy.
meet them this year, yeah. And
Yeah, Mark and Amy, great roadies, been around a long time. They come out to all the events.
ooh, that's a very, very nice little cherry on that one for the nose. Very well balanced. That is very tasty, and I will be sharing that with Mark and Amy as soon as I see them.
All right. So, Doug, just a reminder to our fellows out there and gals on the chat, if your name is not showing up when you chat on our screen here, it's because you need to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and give StreamYard permission to show your name. Facebook's very particular about that, so they want to make sure that everybody has permission to see their name out there. So, well, it's been great to go through this so far. Doug, that particular bottle has sat unopened for a little while.
It has since October.
Since October, so that's a few months there that you've had to look at that thing and not open it.
There you go.
Are you pleased?
I am very pleased with that. And another one that I opened, and actually I opened it with Mark and Amy, was the 5 Trail that I won off the Bourbon Road. And someone told me that I needed to open that because nobody was going to enjoy it any more than I would. And so we opened it up at Mark and Amy's house at a party, and it is delicious. That is a wonderful whiskey.
That is a really, really good whiskey. Now that's David Coors out of Coors Brewing / Whiskey Company, right? Molson
Correct.
Coors.
Yep.
And they've done a fine job to collaborate with Bardstown Bourbon Company to put together something that is just delightful and sessionable. I mean, you can just sit and drink on that, and it's nice. I turned Brian onto it. I think.
They did make one mistake with it, though. all of their
Yeah.
bottles seem to have a hole in it because that one goes down pretty fast.
Good. Yeah, that's true. That's the problem with a sessionable whiskey, right?
There you
Just-
go. There
It
you
lasts
go.
for one session. All right, Jordan, what do you got for us?
Alrighty, so mine is already opened, and Jim, I have you to thank for this obsession. My bottle of High West Midwinter Nights Dram, and it is the Act 8 Scene 2. The first time I ever came out to meet you and Mike, I think Drew, and then all three of your all's wives were there. We went to Third Turn Brewing in J-Town, and we went over and they had that, and you had told me, they're like, if you could get anyone on the shelf, I guarantee you're going to like that one. And it was the Act 6 Scene 6, and it was just like liquid candy. I mean, it was incredible. And this is the bottle I was talking about. We opened, we all did a pour for my buddy's bachelor party, and I love it, but it's definitely one that I try to save for kind of those, I don't have a fireplace, but like a cold winter's night, just to kind of heat you up a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and
got that holiday spice to it a little bit, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna get a little bit of this because it's been, like I said, it's been September since I've had any of it, so it's definitely a very seldom occasion that I get to enjoy this one, but by choice. Just that smell, that nose already is just so sweet. Yeah, definitely that. Like you're saying, that holiday spice. Kind of like that Lucky 7 the holiday toast has. Not quite as much as that, but definitely kind of working up to it. And then just the finish on it is really, I mean, it'll kind of hit you up front a little bit because it is, I mean, for a rye, it does have a little bit more kick to it, but just how smooth it finishes off is where it kind of gets me in trouble every now and then. But yeah, this is hands down probably one of my favorite bottles I've ever.
So how many High West fans do we have in the house? How many people like High West?
Yeah.
Or some
haven't
of you
had the
haven't had it,
opportunity
maybe,
yet.
right?
I haven't had it yet.
Okay, well, I think you should.
I
Absolutely.
think I should too.
So, and guess what? Jordan's got a bottle, so you guys get together, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I've got that. The Rendezvous Rye is really good. I haven't been able to find it in a long time, but I think it was the Yippee-Ki-Yay. That's a little bit sweeter.
Yeah.
And I'm
Double
getting
rye,
more
and
into
then they've got a Boo Rye too.
right. I haven't had that one, and I'm getting more into Scotch a little bit. So I do have a bottle of their Campfire, which is I believe it's a mix of whiskey, rye, and Scotch, and it's definitely a different taste. But I mean, I enjoy it. It's definitely got that
bit of
Campfire
peat in it,
smokiness. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Not quite like drinking an ashtray, but close.
No.
I'm kidding, of course.
But yeah, it's
All right.
a different one. A lot of people are usually surprised by it, even if they like Scotch. They kind of really don't know what to expect going into it, whether a whiskey, a rye, a Scotch, and they're always kind of like, "Wow!" And I was like, "Yep, that's exactly what I said."
Well, I've got another one, and I didn't tell anybody to bring multiple bottles. So some of you may have more than one. Some of you may have some other things you'd like to share. But I brought a couple, so I'm going to go ahead and share another one. And we recently had a show in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, where we had some fellow roadies on in Dominican Republic, and we had a show down there. We actually recorded near the beach, and we had a bourbon release, and I think a few of you guys probably got your hands on this bottle here. It's the Bourbon Road in Paradise. The problem is that the bottle never made it to Paradise, right? It never made it down to Paradise. So we took an unopened bottle down with us. It happened to be bottle 2 of 193. I don't know if you guys can see that on there. Bottle number 2 of 193. The last bottle that I have of that particular barrel pick, and we took it down with us, and we opened it up with some roadies down in Paradise, and we had a grand time. You can go back probably about 6 or 8 episodes and you'll find it, but it was a really fun time. We had a great time down there. But this is an example of a bottle that can never be replaced. So this is something that I don't care what you do, you will never get another one. And so when you do barrel picks, when you get single barrels, and sometimes you might have multiple bottles of it, it's guaranteed that when that one's gone, that's it. It will never happen again. And it was tough for me to open this last bottle. This was when Mike and I did this pick. He took bottle 1, I took bottle 2. You know, that's it. So the last bottle that got opened by me was bottle 2, and now I've got a little bit left of it, and I'm going to revisit it again. It is it's a 5-year Wilderness Trail bourbon whiskey. It's a barrel pick. This particular one was in Kenton number 4 charred barrels, so it was kind of unique for them. And we had 193 roadies that got to taste this and sample it and enjoy it. Jordan, were you one of those?
Yes, sir. I think I charged through one of those bottles pretty quick. Kind of babying another one, and I have one that is one bottle that I still have unopened, but that's one that just I do. It's one that basically everything that I know about bourbon came from you and Mike in the Bourbon Road episodes, and that's one that I wanted to save for kind of. I'm about to be 34, so kind of, I don't know, a little ways down the road, I can crack that open and kind of look back, because that was a pretty, and I'm sure you'll attest to it, it was a pretty special occasion for that, and I just want to be able to look back and remember that.
Well, when you do open it,
I'll give you a call.
give me a call.
No problem.
It is wonderful butterscotch.
It's a big boy bourbon.
Caramel. It's just such a wonderful pick. They really did put out some great barrels for us, and then, you know, I think they always put out really good barrels for their visitors. But I'd like to think that we got a couple of special barrels there, and they're really, really good. So I've got maybe a third of a bottle left, so I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to share it as often as I can. Anybody that comes to the Bourbon Road Bar should ask for this one, because it's a really good one.
Absolutely.
So there's another reason that makes it tough to open the damn bottle, is that you've got that last bottle of that series, like that Stag 10 I had, or, you know, the Bourbon Road to Paradise, and, you know, you're just never going to have it again. And the funny thing is, my wife Melody got a bottle of brown sugar Benchmark. I don't know. Has anybody ever had that? The brown sugar Benchmark?
I have not.
It's more of a liqueur from Buffalo Trace, but it's their Benchmark brown sugar, and it's really super tasty. I mean, it's really good. And she got that as a gift from Rob. Rob, you have this tendency to just introduce bottles to people. Thank you so much for that. Melody,
Very generous.
Yeah, very generous. She hated to open it because she knew she may never get another one, but then she drank it all gone, and it's gone now. And she's like, Jim, can you get me another one? I'm like, I don't know.
That's some good stuff.
I think in general, I think she's pretty glad she drank through it, though, rather than just setting it on the shelf.
Now, you know, at one time I was told that they were no longer making that, and then someone else told me that was not true. So I don't know. Maybe somebody out there can tell me.
Yeah, so I think that's Melody. It says Facebook user there, but I think that's Melody.
Thanks, Rob.
She hasn't given permission to stream
Yeah,
to show her name, but yeah, she's definitely giving out a thanks there to you.
That was some wicked stuff. So I made my poor man's old fashioned with that. You know, I would just, you know, it already had the simple syrup, the brown sugar in it for sure, and I'd hit it with a couple of splashes of orange bitters, and, you know, throw a rock in, and I was good to go.
Well, now people are hearing how generous you are. So there's another one for you.
Oh, look, I gotta go. It's Todd. Come over, I'll give you a sip. My bottle's open.
All right. Well, I'm not going to call anybody specifically because I'm not sure how many people brought more than one. But would anybody like to go again?
I got a fun one.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
This is a bottle of Maker's Mark from 1976. And we opened it up at Thanksgiving with my nephews and I and my son-in-laws. And we compared it with the modern Makers. Totally different flavors, both very good. But the Makers from 76 had a different flavor to it. And I realized different years will impart a different flavor from the barrels, but I also wonder how much of it is from the grain, because the grain back then didn't have the genetic augmentations like we see now. But
Now,
that was a very fun one.
Does Makers claim non-GMO grain, or they don't, or some do and some don't? I was just
I
curious.
have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know either.
It's very good. It's a different profile, but I mean, you can tell it's from the same family lineage. And it was stored, I know because my brother-in-law had it, but it was stored above a refrigerator in a cabinet. So it never had the sunlight. But yeah, it was very good. Something very different.
Yeah, I think that's important to note here is that if you've got bourbons that you'd like to hang on to and you're not ready to open the damn bottle, make sure you store them in a cool, dry place, right? A dark place, right? Because sunlight and heat are the enemy of unopened bottles. So, you know, it's amazing that those 69 ceramic castles that you have there have managed to stay full, because a lot of times those corks get dried out and it evaporates, right?
That's what Adam actually Boothby told me to get it weighed, and it weighs a full 4.5 pounds or 4.5. I don't know what it was, but anyway, it's completely full. It didn't have any evaporation yet.
Wow.
Yeah, somebody wants a sample, Doug.
Oh no, he had some.
Did he?
He
Got me a sample. Oh, he said, oh, he didn't say get me a sample. He said got me a sample.
Right. He's one of our badass bourbon brothers from Upper here.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Well, so Jim, you know, I can't go again as far as another bottle. I didn't pull one out, but you know, I told you I might get nostalgic on you, and you know, when you started the OT, you know, damn bottle, open the damn bottle. I mean, I thought, man, that's cool. That's going to catch
There
on.
it is.
Yep. I like it. It's going to catch on. That's going to go. And, you know, and I really do like it because it's funny, it's cool and all that. But then, you know, I started thinking a little bit and, you know, getting just old enough where, you know, I've had a lifelong cousin, buddy, best friend pass away, you know, in a month or two ago. And, you know, another buddy passed away the year before and another one the year before. And, you know, these guys are, you know, people that I've been running around with since I was 8. And, you know, when you start thinking about holding on to something like it's going to last forever and you'll get to it later and all that kind of stuff, I don't know. When I just see time passing by and, you know, people passing, you know, to me, just gives me more reason to enjoy the heck out of stuff with my friends. And, you know, I got this goofy thing where, like, most nights when I'm sitting around here, or even if I go to a little local watering hole, people know me. They call me Old Crow now because, you know, I'll order the cheapest thing on their bar and sip on it. Old Crow is the cheapest thing at the local bar. But, man, you come to my house, I'm opening everything, and we're going to have fun. And I want you to try stuff you've never had. And I don't have, you know, any of the Pappy lineage. I don't have all the crazy Wellers. I don't have anything really special. But, you know, I got 300 different bourbons that most of them are under $100, you know. And I just like to have fun with it, you know. Sharing it really is the only reason I'm in this game.
All right. Well,
Cheers.
Cheers.
Rob, well said, my friend. And I have to say that when you go to Rob's bar, you drink some of the very best bourbon that he has.
Mhm.
He's such a generous fellow, and it's a lot of fun. And that's a great bar he's got there. He has converted that basement into just a wonderland of bourbon and patriotic
Yeah.
items. It's just a real pleasure. So hopefully one of these days we'll shoot an episode there and get the full picture of it. That'd be great.
Yeah. Everybody's invited.
Well, Mark Ratliff wants to know, when did the t-shirts come out? Open the damn bottle. Well, I think we just got the hats. They're on the website. You can order them if you like. I encourage everyone who believes in Open the Damn Bottle to start using the hashtag in your posts. It's something that I think we all believe in. When we were talking to each other about putting together this show, I think most of you share the concept or share the idea that, you know, the best way to enjoy the bourbon is to open the bottle and share it with friends. And that we're not saying there aren't reasons to not open the bottle. There are, but they should be good. They should be good reasons. You should have a plan for it. There should be a reason why you're not. And Doug, quite honestly, it's too expensive to open. I'm going to sell it. I get it. I understand. You just, you know, you can't take a bottle what's that bottle worth, by the way, on the market, if somebody else wants it?
From what Adam was telling me, anywhere between $400 and $600.
Okay. And, you know, it's hard to crack a bottle that's worth $400 to $600, and somebody else may be willing to pay that money and crack that bottle. Let's just hope they crack the bottle, right?
There you go.
All right.
And Scott, if
All
you
right.
need any help unloading when you get back to Ohio, you give me a call. I'll be happy to carry your bottles in for you.
I appreciate that. I actually, a couple of years, about a year or so ago, I was unloading a car from a trip to Kentucky, and I opened the rear door, and a bottle of Buffalo Trace fell out of the parking lot and popped open and went everywhere.
Oh,
So now I keep better track of it, keep everything in boxes. I don't let things roll around in the back seat anymore.
All right, Scott. Well, somebody has put it in writing. They want to know what you're drinking.
Well, I just finished the Maker's Mark BRT2 this is the limited release in 2022, and I'm getting ready to pour myself where's the camera at? Devil's River Store Pick. This is a total wine pick.
Nice.
Bottle 27 of 198. I have opened this already. Comes in at 121 proof, and they are quite tasty. I am a sucker for barrel picks, store picks. I love them. Can't get enough of them. I actually have another one of these from another local. It's actually the Costco here locally. They had one in their store the other day, so I grabbed it that I'm going to take back to Ohio with me. And I also have the Devil's River Distillers Select. I do have it open. I don't have it here with me right now in this room. But the Devil's River Distillers Select is a bold. It is a he-man of a bourbon. I mean, it's an ass kicker if there ever was one. So,
Well, I'll tell you this about. Here's what I know. Cheers. And you tell us what you think about this one. Here's what I'm going to say about Devil's River. When we first had it on the show, when they first started shipping their product, we felt like it was one of those whiskeys that you can taste the future in. Like, it's like, okay, this is really not where it needs to be, but it's got this great flavor to it, right? And then it was like 2 years later, we had some of their more recent product. We had them on the show again. I was like, oh my God, this stuff is delicious. And somebody just asked a minute ago, will we ever hear about a Bourbon Road Bourbon of the Year for 2022? And I'm going to put that up. Well, we didn't do a Bourbon of the Year for 2022 because we didn't get to do a consensus between Mike and I for the end of 2022. So we didn't do a Bourbon of the Year. But we did have a number of bourbons that were in the running for Bourbon of the Year. And I will say that the Devil's River was one of those. And also was from Dueling Grounds Distillery in Franklin, Kentucky. The Lincoln Pinch bourbon was one of those, and there was one other that was actually not a bourbon. It was a rye, believe it or not, and it was from Hard Truth Distilling out of Nashville, Indiana. It was the
Scott,
Sweet Mash Rye. So those were the three that were in the running, but we didn't announce one because we didn't have an opportunity as a team to make that announcement, and it's kind of difficult to do it after the fact because the whole idea about our bourbon of the year is that it has to be a consensus between the two hosts. So, and Brian didn't have an opportunity to jump in on that, so we just decided to not do it this year. And I apologize for those who waited around for our bourbon of the year, but at least I've told you the three that were in the running. So there you go.
Yeah, the Devil's River is. Now I went to a tasting last week. A local liquor store here had Devil's River tasting. I did get a chance to taste their quote standard expressions of their bourbon. I also got to taste their agave infused whiskey, and that's becoming a really popular one with them. And it's not bad. It's a little sweet for me, but the barrel picks and the distiller picks, I really like them. They're really good bourbon, really good drinkers. But like I said, that distiller select, I mean, it's a punch in the chest when you take a drink of it. I mean, it's got the hug like you've never had a hug before.
you got my attention. I like the sound of that.
Well, when I get back to Ohio, then I'll have access to my sample bottles. Then I will hit you up and I'll send you 4 ounces of it.
Well, all right. Or if I can find one somewhere.
So does anyone have another bottle that they'd like to talk about? Something that we're opening up here? Jordan?
Yeah, I got one more. Once again, I've already opened it, but I had heard the episode, and a lady I work with, she is a big wine person, and I told her that she always talks to me about any like new bourbons and stuff, and I was like, well, there's one, but they don't sell it around here, so I'm trying to find somewhere to ship it. And I told her the name of it, and about 2 weeks later, I just came into work first thing in the morning, and she goes, well, buddy, you owe me some money. And I was like, for what? And she found a bottle of the Frey Ranch rye for me. I don't know where she ordered it from, how she got it, but this is I love my Midwinter Nights Dram, but this is hands down probably one of the best ryes I've ever had. And at the time of the episode, I think in their area, which is Fallon, Nevada, they might have had a pretty good name for themselves, but kind of towards East Coast and over here, I don't think they were that known about. And it seems like every time I look up something on Facebook that they're just growing and growing and growing. So I'm super happy to see what once was kind of not a household name, but kind of in, I guess, like tri-state area, really kind of come into their own. And their bourbons are, I mean, just as good as well. I mean, I just fell in love with it the first time I ever had it. So, and the fact that it was somebody that I had worked with maybe a month that kind of took that step and got that for me, because I live in Indiana, so we can't have bourbon shipped here. I don't think if that's become a thing. I haven't heard about it. But yeah, I mean, this is just, it's, to me, it doesn't have as much of that rye spice to it, but enough to still kind of get, the rye drinkers their fix and just kind of turn anybody into a rye fan that might not be.
Yeah, no, Colby and his family, they're the real deal, right? I mean, they do it right out there. I mean, they're 100%. I mean, they're a farm, huge farm, right?
Yep.
Many thousands of acres. They're a huge farm that has said, we're going to take our product of our farm, we're going to turn it into whiskey. And they've done such a great job there. They really do a great job.
Yeah. I think it was them that, what's the term, like from ground to glass or from grain to glass or something like that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they were the first kind of distillery that I had really looked into that was like that. And thought it was really cool, their family story and everything like that. Ignore that landline ringing in the background. Been a while since y'all heard one of them, huh?
That's definitely a good choice. I've got one more, guys. We're coming up on 9 o'clock here, and I just wanted to, right before we sign off tonight, I'd like to take a minute and introduce one more that I had. I actually brought 3, and this is the. Can you guys read that?
There we go. That's it.
The Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond. So
The 6 year.
That's the 6 year. So this has been discontinued now for about 3 years. I had once that announcement came out, I had 2 cases of it, and I have given away probably 80% of it and drank the other 20%. And I have just a couple of bottles left. And it's open. I think I have maybe one more bottle left after this, but is it spectacular? No. Is it amazing for what I paid for it? Absolutely yes. I think I paid $11 for this.
Oh, geez.
It's a 6-year-old bourbon. It's a bottle and bond. It's out of Heaven Hill. You can get it now. It's 7 years old, but you won't pay $11 for it, will you? Does anybody know what the current price is for the Heaven Hill bottle and bond at 7 years?
I think the last I saw that was maybe in like the 55 to 65 range, maybe. Oh, yep, there you go.
I'm not sure. They
Never heard of this stuff.
They did send us a bottle. Yeah, we have a Facebook user. It says it's at 40.
That's what it is
There
in
you go.
Ohio.
Yeah, it's they did send us a bottle here when they released in Kentucky. Kentucky was absolutely the last state to get it. And rightly so. The rest of the world needed to get it first, right? Because we had it for all those years. Why not let the rest of the world have it for a while? And Todd's saying it's 60-ish. So
It's 40 in
no,
Ohio.
he said no. He's correcting himself. He's too high. He said. So we're going to go.
Here in Texas, it runs anywhere from about 50 to 60 a bottle.
Well,
So Jim, I'll tell you, you actually gifted me one of those, and I still have about 75% left in my bottle. I've been hanging on to it. I've been very, very cautious with how much I pour, but I definitely share it with folks. But it's a great one.
yeah, and in all fairness, I think you gifted me one too as well, Brian. So Jim's pretty good about that.
So I think there's probably somebody in the room I haven't gifted one to yet. So I have one more left. So if you're at my bar,
Doug,
I had to buy
A
mine.
lot of hands going up.
well,
sometimes
gentlemen, I appreciate you coming on the show tonight and supporting our Facebook Live event. It's been a while since we had one. I had such a great time. I think we should do this more often.
Oh,
What do you think?
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
had a great time.
A lot of fun. We've had a lot of comments from our listeners. We've had a lot of people in the groups that have had some things to say. It's always awesome. We love having interaction with our bourbon roadies. And gentlemen, I just want to tell you this. So Brian and I are wearing some of these OTDB hats, right? When we get out of this episode here, I want you to send me a Facebook message and to give me your address, because I want to send each and every one of you one of these OTDB beanie hats for being on the show tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Jim.
Thank you. It was fun.
Thanks.
And we certainly like to get the word out. We would love the sort of the idea of hoarding bottles to turn into sharing bottles. That would be so much greater. It's such a disappointment when you can't get your hands on a bottle and you can't get to taste it. And so many unopened bottles are sitting out there. We do believe that people ought to be able to do what they want with their bourbon, but we certainly hope that they open it. And what do you guys think about the show today?
Excellent.
I think it was
It
good.
was great.
Good time.
Very enjoyable.
Fun.
All right. Would you all like to be a guest again sometime? Should we do this again
Absolutely.
soon?
Absolutely.
Anytime.
All right. Well, our
Hey,
message
Jim.
to everybody out there is open the damn bottle, right?
Absolutely.
Amen.
Open the damn
Open
bottle.
open
We
the
will
damn
see you
bottle.
all
Open the bottle.
down the Bourbon Road.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you guys. Cheers.
Cheers.